你这个是为什么在这不回去了呢？如果想摁这个计算词吧，它出这个。
Well, good evening and welcome to the tonight's board meeting. Good to have such a big crowd. Before we get going, I'd like to say that the Burnaby School District would like to acknowledge and thank the Coast Salish Nations of Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish on whose traditional territory we teach, learn, and live. So motion to confirm the agenda.
Move the agenda.
Second by Paul Linder. Any additions? Something under good news, motion, or under new business?
Yes, I would like to put additional
Any nominations? Seeing none, all those in favor, opposed, carried. We have two delegations tonight. The first one is Dr. Claire Couples. Can you step forward? Just raise the mic there.
So thank you very much for inviting us to meet with you. I'm Claire Couples. I'm the Dean of Science at Simon Fraser University, and we just wanted to take a few minutes of your time to tell you some of the interface that we have in the Faculty of Science at SFU and with the Burnaby School District and the School Board. I think we feel very much that we are part of Burnaby. We are Burnaby's university. That's how we got our start, and that's how we see ourselves to this day, even though we cover 3 different campuses. The mandate that we have as a university is to engage the community, and as scientists at the university, we do just that. And I just thought I'd give a very quick little overview of where we meet up with you and with your students and with your community. Because really, as I said, we want to be the university for Burnaby and for the Lower Mainland, for everybody from the smallest kindergarten student through to all of our seniors. And we have a number of programs that allow us to do just that. So one of the things that we're very proud of at SFU in science is our long tradition of serving outreach activities to the community. And so every year we have about 25 programs that are offered by our faculty and by our staff and by our students, largely on a volunteer basis. We have tens of thousands of community members coming up to the campus, mainly to the Burnaby campus, to take part in a lot of hands-on activities. So these are things introducing school children to science, introducing parents and teachers to science, and introducing all sorts of members of the community to science. We have 2 dedicated spaces on the campus that allow us to introduce students to hands-on activities. We have a studio that allows students and parents and teachers to actually get experience in teaching or to performing science. We design workshops specifically for particular age groups and invite any schools and any homeschoolers to come up and experience those programs. We are also in April opening an observatory which will allow us to build on a lovely program that we've had for many years of star parties where again the community gets a chance to learn all about the stars, and now we'll have essentially a research grade telescope to do that in. We have, of course, at the other end of the spectrum, we have a lot of programs for outreach, for introducing science in all its different varieties to the community, and a lot of those programs, because they happen in the evening, appeal to seniors and to retired people who want a chance to stay intellectually active. We're actually looking for a home in Burnaby, so if anybody has a space that they could provide us with for offering some of these cafés scientifiques, we would be delighted. But of course, one of our biggest interfaces with your community is the students that come from the Burnaby School District and from elsewhere to our campus for our many programs. We are very much aware that, as I said, Burnaby is our home community, and we are very pleased that 10% of our undergraduate students in science are from the Burnaby School District. Many of the rest of them are from surrounding communities. What we would like is actually to have more Burnaby students come to our campus. And in fact, we have a very bright group of students who've come through the Burnaby School programs, and probably about only about 25% of those that we admit actually choose to come to SFU, and we feel that's a shame. Why get on the bus and travel further west when you could join us up on the mountain? So we would certainly welcome any opportunity for any member of this community, for teachers, for members of the board, to come up to SFU to visit us. We'd be delighted to show you the programs we have. We certainly have lots of activities for students in high school who are considering what types of careers they want to have in science. And I certainly would like to make an open invitation to you or any members of the community or the school board or the schools themselves to come up and join us. We do have some literature that we'll leave you with that introduces you to some of our activities. And I should also say that we have a very big program aimed at introducing Aboriginal students to science. This has been an amazing way that we have brought science to Aboriginal communities and learned from them as well in how we present science to people who may not have been thinking about science and math as part of their world. So we will leave you some literature, and as I said, we're delighted to welcome you at any point for public or for educational opportunities, and I hope to see some of you up on the campus.
Well, thank you very much. So 10% from Burnaby, is that the largest contingent from any?
No, actually, Surrey is probably our biggest pool, although that's probably just because they're the fastest growing community. And of course, we also have a large pool from Coquitlam and Port Moody area as well. But Burnaby is certainly one of our biggest groups.
Well, we'll have to work on improving that. My daughter graduated from San Fraser.
Good.
And Larry was going to ask a question here. On this one.
Thank you very much. And on the Alumni Association board, and I know we're constantly recognizing graduates out of the science program for what they've done after graduation. So just had a question, Dr. Couples, about the observatory, which sounds like a real exciting project. Before the chair says, I'm a nerd anyway, I used to be a astronomy nerd when I was growing up. And are you looking at doing some active outreach with local schools when the observatory is online and we get some clear nights?
If we get some clear nights. Yes, certainly. We will have on our website all the different programs that we'll be operating. Of course, we welcome anybody who would like to come up. But the observatory is designed to be online, and in fact, we've got a partnership going with a university in the north of Chile. They haven't figured out yet that they have sunshine and we don't. But we're hoping to have basically a relationship with them so that our students and the community can learn about the southern sky, and they on our clear nights can learn about our sky as well. So it is designed to be online.
Thank you. Any questions? Well, thank you very much for the information. Now, next up we have Brian Phelps, Music Educators Association.
All right, just as I'm speaking, we have a slideshow of some images from our schools across our district and the music programs that we have. Good evening, trustees, Superintendent Nikolai Moa, and district staff, and everyone here this evening. My name is Ryan Phelps, and I am currently the chairperson of the newly reinstated Burnaby Music Educators Association, a group of current and retired Burnaby educators who are committed to the betterment of music education, not only within the district, but within our province and country. I'm also the kindergarten to grade 7 music educator at Gilmore Community Elementary School and the conductor of the Key of Harmony, the Burnaby District Children's Choir, one of our many district honor ensembles. I'm here today to along with a number of my music teaching colleagues, to thank the Board of Education for its continued support of music in our district, and to highlight some of the successes that we have as music educators in our district. First, I wanted to let you know how big of an impact music has played in my life, and why I believe it's so important for our students. I was never really the most popular student in school, but I found my place in the performing arts. And there I was able to express myself, learn and have fun, and make a number of like-minded friends. I know that this is the case for a large number of our Burnaby students. And I have followed that love of music through my university and into my career, and I could not imagine doing anything other than what I'm doing right now. And I'm very happy to be working in a district that has shown a commitment to music education. Burnaby is being one of the only districts in the province that has certified music teachers in every one of its schools from kindergarten to grade 12, so that every student has the opportunity to learn from a skilled music education professional. Students who love music are visible throughout our district, from students who look forward to their music classes to students whose only reason for being at school that day is their music class. Music teachers often see our younger learners in the hall and are greeted with a smile and a question asking if they have music that day. And the look of joy on our students' faces when the answer is yes is infectious. And we can all think of a student who struggles with their academic work, but they're able to shine as they succeed and demonstrate that music is where their spark lies. Our elementary music teachers are as diverse as the students that we teach. We have come from many different backgrounds and music experience, but the one thing that we have in common is the desire and passion to share music education with our students. The programs are as rich and as varied as we are. You can walk into any elementary music classroom and hear and see an array of different types of music being taught, from play-based songs and games in our youngest learners to full-length Broadway musicals, hand chimes to rock school, dance and movement to African drumming, orff-based learning to complex choral music. Our music classrooms have never been as diverse and exciting as they are right now. These classes would not be possible if it was not for the highly skilled and trained music educators that the board has hired to provide music instruction to our students. Every music teacher in our district has been trained in music education. The high quality of achievement evident in these classes is also only possible because of the amount of time allocated to teach music to our students. In most cases, that means 90 to 100 minutes of music instruction per class per week. This combination of highly skilled educators and dedicated time for music instruction in all schools and for all elementary students has made Burnaby's music program one of the strongest and most robust in the province. All of these musical learnings are highlighted in the elementary concerts that take place in Burnaby all year long. One just has to look at the list of winter concerts to be astounded on how many schools are performing. Most of these concerts taking place in the weeks leading up to winter break when students' minds are already on winter vacation. The concerts continue again in the spring, with some schools offering 2 concerts in 1 year, an amazing task for any school to complete. Our guests walk out of Burnaby School's concerts amazed and astounded by the talent and the ability of our students' performances. That is attributed to the commitment that Burnaby has had to supply a trained music professional to every school. We want to thank you today for that commitment, as well as the exceptional number of concerts that you all attend every year, showing support for our students and our teachers. We see the success of the music not only in our elementary classrooms, but in the high schools as well. Our high school music teachers are very proud of all of their students, but highlights of their successes outside the district include 2 students from the jazz program at Burnaby North winning scholarships to the esteemed Berkeley School Summer Music Program, Burnaby North's gold rating at the Kiwanis Jazz Festival, Burnaby North's marching band's many honors, including some at the Calgary Stampede. Burnaby Mountain Secondary is particularly proud of their gold rating at Kiwanis 2014 and silver at Nationals 2014. And the Burnaby Central Choir has also been consistently invited to Music Fest Canada. These accolades are a testament to the dedication and the talent of our students, our high school music educators, and the strong foundation that our elementary educators have given by the time they reach grade 8. Our success in music education is also clearly evident in a number of other ways. Examples of this include our elementary music festivals. Each year, Primary Days of Music features more than 2,000 students in grade 2 and 3 coming together to share their love of music. Our Intermediate Choir Festival, now in its 26th year, is a district-wide choral event that takes place each spring. Elementary choirs, along with secondary choirs, perform at the Michael J. Fox Theatre before a commentator who gives feedback about the performance. In our Festival of Beginning Bands, over 1,000 grade 7 first-year band students perform each year. This festival takes place in several school sites around the district and allows the students to share their music with peers from other schools. The highlight, though, of this event is the mass band number, where students get the opportunity to experience playing with a large ensemble. And this is a particularly exceptional feat if you've ever heard the beginning bands in September, when they're only able to barely put their instrument together and only have a few squeaks and squawks. Our district honor ensembles also highlight the high caliber of music that our students are capable of. The Key of Harmony, the Burnaby District Children's Choir, features 80 audition students in grades 1 to 4, representing 15 elementary schools this year. Coro Voce, the Burnaby District Youth Choir, features more than 50 audition students in grades 5 to 9, and both of these ensembles sing high-quality music, showing musicianship well beyond the age of their singers. Soundwave, our district handbell choir, is celebrating its 15th anniversary this year. It currently has 10 members and performs challenging music on a set of handbells. The students are in grades 6 to 11 from 5 Burnaby elementary and secondary schools, and by the end of this year they will represent the Burnaby School District in West Vancouver, Burnaby, and New Westminster, performing as a part of a concert series for seniors in independent living and seniors in care home. The district also supports the Burnaby District String Orchestra, for a group of 45 students. The ensemble supports 2 levels of learners, level 1 for grade 4 students new to stringed instruments, and level 2 for experienced string players. These ensembles rely on the volunteer work of educators from across our district who generously donate their time to serve as directors, pianists, managers, and teachers in these after-school programs. Programs that are more often than not filled to capacity and sometimes filled over capacity as teachers don't want to turn away interested students. Burnaby music teachers are leaders in the province. They are leading provincial honor ensembles, providing workshops to music teachers provincially and nationally. They are serving on boards in areas of interest and volunteering countless hours for the development of music education. Burnaby is well represented and highly praised by its teachers during travel for professional development nationally and internationally. And this is demonstrated by the high number of Burnaby teachers who have won the BC Music Educators Association Award at their annual conference. I'd also like to say that being a music teacher in an elementary school is a very special position. While students learn from 10 months from a classroom teacher, then move on, we see them every year. We watch them grow, develop, and become who they are. I recently moved schools from my first long-term position in one school. I had seen my grade 7s almost every day for 7 years. I saw them grow from children into teenagers, and they were almost like family to me. And I know that's how all of my elementary music teaching colleagues feel about their students. We watch them grow and change, and we're not only concerned with their musical education, but their education as a whole. I would like to thank the Board of Education for their past support of music in the district. I would also like to say that we all hope in this time of fiscal constraint that the board chooses to continue and support and maintain music staffing at its current levels, to continue to have certified music educators in every school, and to allow our learners to have as much time in the music class as they do currently. Our hope is that we are able to continue to have district honor ensembles perform and maintain the number of district festivals and performances that we have all come to value as part of our yearly calendar. Our students need and deserve the rich and important music education that they have come to expect, an expectation that reaches outside of Burnaby, where school districts have noticed that Burnaby still values the arts. Please continue to keep music education as one of the core beliefs of our district. Finally, I'd like to say thank you to the board and everyone here for allowing me the chance to speak on behalf of our music educators tonight, and to thank all the music teachers that have joined me. I'd also like to end with a quote. Plato said, "Musical training is a more potent instrument than any other, because harmony and rhythm find their way into the inward places of the soul." And we all truly believe this. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that presentation. And one thing I can say on behalf of the board is that as we deliberate over the next few months with our budget, we'll keep the music program in mind. You know, I have a long history with music. I learned to love music when I was very young, and in Band 8, I had my band teacher tell me that I was like any other student. He's had no other student like me in his class. And what became apparent as it went on was he didn't mean that in a good way. But I still love music, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate what the young kids can do. Any other comments?
And I also want to just add by saying that I think music is international, because I remember when I first came to Canada when I was 17, I speak very limited English, but I was able to make friends through my band classes and also my choir classes. I was able to use music to communicate with my fellow classmates. So, you know, we all know the importance of music here, so thank you so much for sharing that as well. I just have a quick question about, because you mentioned in the beginning of your presentation that some of your music students, they may be shy in other courses, but they find their confidence in music classes. But I've met a lot of students from Burnaby who enjoy their music classes, and they also do very well academically. Do you see your music students coming from like a particular group, or do you see them coming from diverse group of students or backgrounds?
It's a very, very diverse group of students. We have some of our exceptional music students are also the exceptional learners in our schools, and some of our exceptional music students are also our students that do struggle in their academic work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is good news by Mr. Hayes.
Thank you. The good news for February 24th, 2015. Happy Lunar New Year. The Year of the Sheep was heralded in with great fanfare by the Mandarin language art students and all other classrooms at Forest Grove Elementary. Parents, trustees, and senior management enjoyed performances from each grade that included the fan dance, drummers, and a flock of kindergarten-sized sheep. At Taylor Park Elementary, a group of Taiwanese dancers from the Zhao Lan Dragon dance team performed at their celebration of learning assembly. The mayor, city councilors, and school trustees were there to ring in the new year with them. The Day of Sharing. Gay Straight Alliance members from 4 Burnaby secondary schools attended a networking event on February 20th at Burnaby North. The students shared what they are doing at their respective schools and then enjoyed a presentation by illustrious guest speaker, Dia Davina. They also had lots of fun with a rainbow backdrop photo booth and left the event with goodie bags. The students are looking forward to their next big event, the International Day Against Homophobia, which will be held on May 15th at Burnaby Central. All about improv. Students from Burnaby Mountains strutted their stuff this month at the Canadian Improv Games Showdown. Both of Mountains teams, their junior and senior, made it to the Lower Mainland Finals, which is a feat in itself, having defeated schools from the Lower Mainland and the Fraser Valley to make it into the top 6. In the finals, the junior team finished 3rd overall and the senior team placed 4th. Bravo for an act well done. SCOW, then and now. Since 1913, a lot of learning has taken place at SCOW. It was a public elementary school from 1913 to 1979. Until 2014, it was a learning center for district staff. On February 18th, the community came together to celebrate the grand reopening of SCOW as a district continuing education center. Joining trustees and senior staff in the celebration were up to 100 former elementary school students who appreciated a reunion that was arranged for them, and continuing education students and staff. A great time was had by all. Back to the future. This past weekend, 40 teams from BC were at Ecole Alpha Secondary to participate in the VEX Robotics Championship. The teams were tasked with designing and building a robot, competing against other teams in a game-based engineering challenge. And it was a fantastic event that had everyone engaged and focused all day long, including 5 school trustees. Congrats to both teams from Alpha who made it into the semifinals, and their teacher, Russell Evaneski. Math is their game. Earlier this month, the team of grade 8 students from Mosscroft Secondary won 1st place at the Math Challengers Regional Competition. Additionally, 6 students were amongst the top 10 in their division of 60 students. They included Sophia Zhao, Jerry Zhang, Michael He, Josh Zhang, Brandon Wu, and Vlad Luksutin. Bullying Awareness Day. Many Burnaby School students will be dressed in pink tomorrow to raise awareness about bullying and bullying prevention. This year, students at Burnaby Mountain, Seaforth, and Parkcrest enjoyed a presentation by Travis Payne, one of the co-founders of Pink Shirt Day. He shared with the students the origin of the day, how a new student at his school had worn a pink shirt and being teased for it. And in solidarity, he then rallied the students at his school to wear pink shirts. His message to students is that it's up to each of us to be the change we want to see in the world, and that one small act can make a difference in someone's life. And secondary school basketball championship highlights. Congratulations to the senior girls team from Burnaby Mountain, who for the first time in the school's history have advanced to the BC High School AAA Provincial Championships. The Mountain Lions secured their berth to the championship by winning the consolation final and the Lower Mainland final with a thrilling 92-85 overtime victory over the Argyle Pipers. And finally, the Caribou Hill and Alpha Secondary Schools junior girls basketball teams, grade 9-10, were in the Vancouver and District finals. On the final day of playoffs, they played each other. Caribou defeated Alpha to place 3rd, and Alpha finished in 4th place. Both teams were winners in displays of good sportsmanship, and that is the good news for this evening.
Thank you, Larry. Approval of the minutes of the February 10th meeting. Moved by Winder, seconded by Harmon. Any errors, omissions, or deletions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. We now have the board chair reports from the meeting by Harmon tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tonight's board chair report focuses on leadership in the Burnaby School District, and not leadership that flows from the top down, but rather from the bottom up. I'm speaking of the type of leadership demonstrated by our students. In a few moments, in the superintendent's report, we'll be hearing about 3 student-centered leadership opportunities: Pink Shirt Day, the Burnaby Youth Sustainability Network's Do It Green Conference, and the District Student Advisory Council's Burnaby's Got Talent. Each of these district-wide leadership initiatives is not only an example of Burnaby students showing pride in their school district, their community, and themselves, they are also a source of pride for the Burnaby School District itself. Whether it's a collective stand against bullying, a forum to protect the environment, or a philanthropic showcase of talent, these examples of student leadership make us kinder, stronger, greener. They make us more connected, more inclusive, and more informed. Most importantly, they make Burnaby schools even better places to learn. That's because student leaders bring forward real issues that matter to them and their peers on the ground, in classrooms, hallways, cafeterias, and playgrounds all across Burnaby. And they inspire other students and community members to action. That includes the Burnaby Board of Education. On our committees, in our budget consultations, and in all our decision-making processes, we value student voice. We encourage it, we invite it, and we depend on their perspectives as true partners in education. In closing, as the trustee liaison to the District Student Advisory Council for the past couple of years, I've learned so much from these dedicated youth. But perhaps the biggest thing I've learned is that our students aren't just the leaders of tomorrow. They're the leaders of right now. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move my report.
Moved by Harmon, seconded by Winder. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. We now have the district operations superintendent report.
Thank you, Chairperson Burton. As mentioned by Vice Chair Pander, the first 2 items in the superintendent's report this evening focus on student engagement and leadership, and the critical accomplishments and efforts of our students in Burnaby. Today marks Pink Shirt Day, and the importance of student voice is heard across the Lower Mainland and the province. as Burnaby students were part of the acceptance flash mob performing at the Vancouver Giants hockey game last Wednesday. This evening we are very fortunate to have students from Lockdale Community School and Lakeview Elementary School sharing a video of the event, and we get a bit of a peek at their performance live. Thank you to Principals Dino Flarich and Frankie DeVita, and head teachers Lindsay Holliday, Nadine Stack, and music teacher Christine Bourne, and of course all the parents and supporters who are here this evening. We very much appreciate your efforts in sharing this important message of acceptance and inspiring others by your example. So I'd like to call upon Principal of Lakeview Elementary, Frankie DeVita, who will introduce I think our dance troupe and the video.
To our trustees and Superintendent Picolamone, thank you for having us tonight. We have some amazing students, three of which put together this amazing video about our experience. At Lakeview we brought the choir, and it's fitting that we had a music teacher presentation because our music teacher, Christine Bourne, we brought 75 students of our choir participated in the flash mob at the Giants game. So Heather, you want to get this going for us? It never works for me, but I'm glad she's here.
Hello, my name is Anna, and I was part of the Giants game flash mob. We did it as part of the intermediate choir. It was an incredible and new experience for me, and I enjoyed it a lot and had fun. The flash mob was for Pink Day, a day created to help stop bullying. Pink Day means a lot to me because I was bullied before too. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lindsay Holliday, and I'm a classroom teacher and head teacher over at Lockdale. I would like to introduce the group who are now going to dance for you on behalf of Lockdale and Lakeview. But before I do, I'd like to pass it over to Banu, a student who is going to say a few more words about what the experience meant to her.
Hi, my name is Banu, and I'm from Lockdale, and we got to go to the Giants game last Wednesday and perform an acceptance dance at the Giants game. We taught our classroom to dance, and it was really fun, and they enjoyed it as well. And it's also great to it's also great to know that we're standing up to the bullies and letting the ones who get bullied know that we care for them and that they're not alone.
And now we're going to dance.
他们来就是因为跳舞，其他都是很慢的。本来没有关系，不过给那些人就加入了。
加入了，本来是没有关系，一开始 original 是没有关系的，但现在有关系。
现在其实就好像南的人，他利用这一个是算成他自己的东西。
在 Pink Day 的时候。
I'd only heard about it. Apparently not next week. Well, we didn't get a chance to thank them, but we do thank them, and certainly thank the schools for participating. And I had the opportunity today to tag along with Assistant Superintendent Bondelli to the 3 schools that Travis Price spoke at, the co-founder of Pink Shirt Day. And I also went to see him last year, and also he did a regional event last year out in Surrey with the Premier and a few other dignitaries there. And even though, and I think Mr. Bombelli could probably agree with me, same lines, same jokes, same story, but I take something new from what he says even today. All 3 performances that he gave, all 3 presentations, said something different in a different way to the students. And one thing that wasn't in the good news when we talked about Bullying Awareness Day is that he himself was, he not only started Pink Shirt Day, but he himself, when he was in elementary school, was very seriously emotionally and physically bullied himself, including hospital stays, broken ribs, broken ankles. And so that was a huge motivation of what got him involved. So I certainly commend our district staff for bringing him in. It is what he does now, because it's a worldwide movement, starting from just a couple of grade 12 students in small town Nova Scotia. And I think really what he tried to tell all of the students with his presentations, and again, he does it in a very good way, was that even a couple of hip students from small town Nova Scotia can do something that can really mushroom and become a worldwide movement. And he's told us that he's going to New Zealand, Croatia, China, Panama, I think Guatemala is another country that he said is on the list. And these are all countries that, of course, haven't embraced this type of message as well as we have had. Still got a lot of work to do, but it's just small things like that that start off, and that's the message that was left with all of the students, that individually each one of them could be that person that makes a difference and can spread a message. So having these kids involved in that message, even though it's sort of a one-day thing, I think the influence that this one day and this focus makes will hopefully last a lifetime, not only for them but for their families and for the community. So thanks to Roberto and to the district for bringing Travis in again.
Thank you very much. The second item in my report this evening, of course, also focuses on the integral work of our student leaders, and that is in two groups, the Burnaby Youth Sustainability Network and our District Student Advisory Council, or BYSN and DSAC. These groups are here this evening to share initiatives and long-standing traditions in their commitment to do it green and to show that Burnaby does have talent. So I would very much like to introduce Director of Instruction Ron Hall, who works closely with this amazing group of leaders to introduce the team this evening. Director Ron Hall.
Superintendent McLean, trustees, staff, and parents and guests. Yeah, this is one of the best parts of my portfolio, working with these students. And so the first person to introduce to you tonight is the president of the BYSN, which is Selena Kung, and she's a grade 12 student at Alpha Secondary.
Thank you. So good evening to all the school trustees, to superintendent, and to the district staff, as well as all of the guests here today. And I feel really honored to be able to speak with all of you today. And what I'm here to talk about is BYSN's Do It Green event that I would love to see you guys at. So this is just kind of like an overview of what we do. So we have general meetings once every week. And what we do during these general meetings is that we discuss initiatives, we create action plans with the ideas that we have, and we also have leadership workshops. Oh, as you can see here, we have this lovely, we have food at the meeting as well. So this is actually one of the workshops that we had, which is a sorting type of game. So as you can see, they're sorting different types of styrofoams, plastics, papers, and all other types of stuff. And this just kind of gets all the members aware of, you know, how different things are grouped. And now to the good stuff. So as you can see here, these many students, this was Do It Green back in 2013, and now we're bringing it back in 2015, and it's going to be bigger and better. So our theme for this year is called The First Step in Creating Change in the Community. So I know that as an elementary school student back in 2010, I always had ideas. I was like, okay, Mom, I'm going to build a garden. Mom, I'm going to go to space. And then she'd be like, so how are you planning to do that? And I just sat there thinking about how. Okay, I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to get there. Would I just take a rocket to Mars, or just start grabbing a shovel and start digging holes in my garden? So this year, for the Do It Green conference, we're actually going to change it up a little bit. So in the past, we had lectures, we had keynote speakers come in to talk about their experiences, as well as the work they do around the community and on an international scale. And I found that it's great to be able to listen to these experienced and brilliant professionals come in to talk to us. But are we actually really learning if we're just sitting here and just listening to people speak? So this year, we're actually bringing in 10 workshops, as well as a university panel, to share their experiences through hands-on activities. So all these experiences, all these workshops will be interactive, kind of almost one-on-one interactions with these workshop leaders, as well as professionals, so that students get a taste of different fields of sustainability, as well as how to develop different leadership skills. And they will also learn how to start their own initiatives in the community, as well as how to take that first step in creating change. And so we have here, just a little short list, we have here a interactive and greenhouse tour. So this event is held at Burby South Secondary, and they have a lovely greenhouse. And it will be held on Tuesday, March 24th, the Tuesday right after the spring break. And we'll have like a really awesome Q&A session with the university panel. And we'll have sustainability technology workshops, and the workshops are really diverse. So they range from urban farming and organic gardening, all the way to how to start a green team, how to build a campaign, and how to create change on a national scale. And we have these Do It Green features. So it will be held at Burby South once again, and we will actually be able to use the Michael J. Fox Theater, which is amazing and seats around 600 people, and that'll be our keynote. So our keynote will be in there, and the different thing that we have this year is that we will be having a large pledge wall. So what this pledge wall is that students who register will be able to write down something about their lives that they want to change. So it could be something as simple as, I'm going to walk to school every day for a month, or I'm going to turn off the tap when I brush my teeth for a week. And all these simple goals will actually develop into long-term goals. And we're hoping that students will actually be able to, take this idea and kind of reflect on their lives, with what they're doing, and also help them set some goals so that they can turn into long-term goals. And we also have a BYSN showcase, as well as a district showcase, to show what we have been doing in the past, as well as what we are currently doing. So we will, in July 2014, July 2014, we held Vancouver's largest clothing swap, where we had 300 students from all over, well, not students, but like just people from around Lower Mainland come in, swap clothes. It was a really awesome event to promote sustainability through fashion. And we thought that was a really unique event because a lot of people just throw away their kind of clothes that they don't want anymore. But this time, we actually exchanged at least 15,000 different clothing articles and diverted them all from the landfills. And we also donated some of the bags, at least 90 large bags, to the Break Brothers Foundation. And this is the stuff that we're going to be showcasing. So we had the electronic waste campaign that we had at some of our elementary schools. And for our district showcase, we're not just going to put out big posters about what each school has been doing. Every school, every individual school, high school around Burnaby will actually be making a piece of art, 3D art, to show what they have been doing throughout their time. So for example, for Alpha, we'll be making a suspended Alpha logo out of plastic water bottles to show that we've been doing major plastic bottle audits, and to also inspire people to think of sustainability in a creative way. And we'll also be showing our high school food scouts program, which is almost in every single high school, and that's really exciting. That's kind of like idea for the art showcase that we will have for the district showcase. But instead of being at 2D, it will be 3D. And these are just some of the guests that we have at our university panel, and we hope that from students being able to interact with different professors from universities throughout BC, we hope that they'll be able to learn something. And I believe that all career-focused areas or all fields of study actually relate back to environmentalism. And this is because I believe that all of these fields promote the important idea of taking care of ourselves, taking care of others, and taking care of our surroundings. And I think that this is what defines sustainability. So once again, it's going to be on Tuesday, March 24th, 2015, from 8:30 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. at Burnaby South Secondary. You can enter through the main doors, and it's really close to Royal Oak SkyTrain Station. And on behalf of the BY Exec team, we'd like to thank you for all of your time. Thank you so much.
Any questions?
Thank you for that presentation, Selena. And I just had a question about, so 8:30 to 3:15 in Burnaby South, do you have to pre-register? Where do we go? Is there a website? And what do we do?
We actually sent an invitation to all the Burnaby high schools to bring around 30 students. So we'll have around 204 students from all across Burnaby as like a set standard. And then we'll be inviting students from other places through our registration form. It's a Google Docs. And perhaps Mr. Hall will be sending that to you guys because we don't have, our website is not up at the moment. So we do have that on Facebook and other social networking sites. But it will definitely come via email.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much for your presentation, Selena. And I know that you're the current president and you follow many presidents who've done a lot of good work with the Youth Sustainability Network. And I know that you lead in the Lower Mainland and that many other school district youth group have also opened their own social sustainability, environmental sustainability networks and things like that. So congratulations on that. And can I present my apologies? I am out of town on March 24th, so I'll be with you in spirit, but not in person. So thank you very much for coming and
thank you so much.
your presentation.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, a lot of energy. The next president I'm going to introduce you to is the president of DSAC, and that's Janani Ravicularam.
So we are from DSAC, which is the District Student Advisory Committee of Burnaby. So my name is Janani, this is Jared, Nancy, and and we're from the executive of DSAC. So we've come to tell you all a little bit more about Burnaby's Got Talent. So every year we hold a charity event, and this year we've held Burnaby's Got Talent for the past 2 years, and this year we're continuing to do so. So this is an effort to bring together our community as well as shed light on some of the issues that affect our communities surrounding us. So this year, one of our main goals is to shed light on the organization Kinbrace, which helps support vulnerable populations around us. And we're also hoping to bring together the community and connect with this organization too.
So 2 years ago, we supported the Burnaby Task Force on Homelessness, an organization which focuses on bringing awareness to the growing issue of homelessness in our community, and they provide services and support for these vulnerable families. Last year, we supported the Burnaby Children's Fund, another local organization that responds to the needs of children living under the poverty line. So they provide services such as clothing, food, and medical care for young people to ensure that they have the resources they need to reach their full potential of developing youth. And in the past 2 years, as you can see, we've raised over $8,600 through this one-night event.
So leading up to Burnaby's Got Talent, all Burnaby high schools will hold auditions for individual talents throughout the student population, and each school will send 2 finalists to compete at the Burnaby's Got Talent one-night event. So besides the talent itself is how do we raise the money? So tickets are on sale for students and parents, and what's really interesting about this year is that parents who do not have a child enrolled in Burnaby can still buy tickets through the Burnaby online school cash system, which is really interesting. For the first year, we've been able to sell tickets online to parents in our district and out of our district. So we were really excited to start this new program for the parents to purchase the tickets as well as donate to a worthy cause.
The student members of DSAC collaboratively plan and run this event, and all proceeds are donated to a charity. This year, we are supporting Kinbrace. Kinbrace welcomes people in Canada's refugee program system by providing housing, orientation, accompaniment, and education. Their work is rooted in relationships and hospitality and direct newcomers through the complexities of systems and culture for purposeful integration. Our goal this year is to raise at least $5,000 for Kinbrace. DSAC members have also been avidly volunteering at the Kinbrace House to provide extra support and assistance.
So just to close off, we are always extremely thankful for all your continued support of DSAC's endeavors throughout the years, as our efforts wouldn't really amount to as much without all your encouragement and support. So this year, Burnaby's Got Talent will be held on April 8th at the Michael J. Fox Theater at 6:30. So we really hope that all of you will join us for yet another fun-filled night filled with celebration of student talents, as well as the efforts we make as socially conscious citizens to be champions of commendable causes. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'm pretty sure that Larry wants to say something. He's trying to get on your agenda to play the accordion and sing. One of these years. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to the DSAC exec for coming. Great presentation. Just a follow-up question for Jared. So if, for our audience, if a member of the public wants to buy a ticket, what's the easiest way to do that?
So basically, if you're in the Burnaby district, for parents, each DSAC member will be available to sell tickets to any parents and student. If your parent or child is not in a Burnaby district and you would like to attend the event, you can go online to any Burnaby School District website and go on the Cash Online link. I know for Burnaby Mountain we have a brand new website, and it's a quick link right on the right hand side. And you just click School Cash Online, and then you can purchase the tickets through there. Yeah. It's really simple and easy.
So the goal with introducing School Cash Online is to make it more accessible to the public. So essentially anyone, wherever you're from, can purchase a ticket to help support Kinbrace at this event. So yeah, hopefully we'll introduce a larger audience. So yeah, to have the festival.
We're looking forward to it. Thanks very much for the presentation.
Wonderful, thank you so much. And the final item in my report this evening is the requirement with regards to class size and composition. So the reporting out under the School Act to show any changes to class size and composition that occur throughout the year. So the information is report up until Wednesday for your information. Thank you very much.
Motion to adopt superintendent's report. Moved by Larry, second by Eamon. Any other discussion? Correspondence, policy committee.
The policy committee met on Monday, February the 16th at 5 p.m. In attendance were myself as chair, Katrina Chen, superintendent of schools, Gina Nicole Moen, and secretary treasurer, Greg Frank. The first item on the agenda was the emergency preparedness policy, draft policy number 3.35. The committee reviewed the revised draft of policy number 3.35, emergency preparedness. The committee discussed the revised draft policy and regulations in detail and will bring back further edits to the next policy committee meeting prior to being circulated as a notice of motion. The recommendation that the board receive this information. The second item on the agenda was policy number 2.40, event protocols. The committee was presented with a revised draft policy. The committee discussed the revisions, including the acknowledgement of territory greeting, and agreed to recommend policy number 2.40, event protocols, be circulated as notice of motion. Recommendation that the board approve policy number 2.40, event protocols for circulation as notice of motion. The third item on the agenda was the policy number 5.50, admissions and placements of students into the Burnaby school system. Staff brought the district's current policy number 5.50, admissions and placements of students into the Burnaby school system, with recommendations to clarify current language and include language to reflect the addition of the district's Mandarin language program. The committee discussed the recommendations in detail and agreed to revisit the recommendations at a future policy committee meeting. Recommendation that the board receive this information. The fourth item on the agenda was a discussion on policy number 5.08, positive school and work climate. Staff will continue to review the policy and will bring forward recommendations at a future meeting. And the other issue under discussion was a whistleblower protection policy. The committee discussed whistleblower protection policies. Staff will draft a policy for the committee to review at a future meeting of the policy committee. Recommendation that the board receive this information. The meeting adjourned at 5:50 p.m. and the date of our next policy committee meeting is April the 20th, 2015. On behalf of the committee, I would move the report and the recommendations contained therein.
Second, Gary, seconded by Larry. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, carried. Next, a motion to approve the field experiences report. Moved by Moen, seconded by Bolginger. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, carried. District operations.
Thank you, Chairperson. We're bringing forward the amended operating budget for the district for 2014-15. Trustees should have on their site copies of the actual bylaw itself and supporting documents, as well as hopefully a copy of the actual presentation. We're starting the presentation with just an overview of our timeline and reminding the board that we approved the annual budget for this year back in April of last year. And in December of this year, just before Christmas, the ministry announced what our amended operating grants would be for the year. And so those amended revenues as identified in the operating grant, as well as our expenses for the year, have been recast at this point and are reflected in our amended budget. And we're required to submit that amended budget to the ministry prior to the end of February. Our first item is actually trying to highlight our enrollment projections, and you will see primarily our funded enrollment categories identified on this slide. The first three columns are first the amended forecast actual enrollment for the year as we see it for the end of the year, and then that is followed by what our projections were contained in the preliminary budget, and then the variance between actual and preliminary on the right. And you can see some of the highlights there. The elementary enrollment, in fact, is projected to be down about 151 full-time equivalent students this year. And you'll see a bit of a trend where we have some negatives this year in the variances, and we believe that is a direct result of the timing of the job action, which went through the end of last school year, over the summer, and then through the first part of the school year. So in some cases, students and families made choices to seek their education elsewhere. And so we've reflected that in the reality of our enrollment. Our distributed learning, 188 FTE students, a decline of almost 62. And then you see our unique student categories. Primarily they are fairly stable. We're down a little bit in the ELL, and then slightly down in some of the level 3 students, special ed, and our enrollment in the adults is down by 73. The summer learning shows a 0 because of course we didn't run the summer learning program. And the bright spot in the enrollment is our increase in international education, which is up modestly by 58 students. So key budget changes for us. We've highlighted the enrollment decline, and you can see the school age enrollment decline means a drop in revenues for the district of about $1 million. Distributed learning, the 62 FTE decline represents a drop of about $350,000 in revenues. The ELL is about $150,000, and the adult enrollment decline is $325,000. In addition, the summer school cancellation resulted in a loss of about $2.5 million in revenues for the summer session. On the opposite side, we did receive additional holdback funding from the ministry, so we received in total $71 per student, which is a total of about $1.8 million for the district, and is an increase of $780,000 over our budget. And then lastly on this slide, you'll see the labor settlement funding for the new teachers collective agreement. We've now reflected the cost of that salary and benefit adjustments within our financial statements, as well as the funding for that at $4.4 million, which we've received separately, and new funding for the year to cover those costs. On the next slide, continuing changes is we've also highlighted the clawback of government grants that were taken representing the savings during the month of September that the school district realized for the job action. And so during that period, we did have some salary savings, some benefit savings, and other cost savings. And the Ministry of Education has taken 100% of that back, $7.6 million, and they have taken that funding to help fund the payment that's been made to parents, actually, for students in courses that were registered in school. International education increased enrollment, $925,000 in revenues. Utilities, we continue to be successful in managing our utilities and reducing our costs in that area. We've also been assisted by a very warm winter this year, and we're projecting over and above our projected savings in that area for the year, a further $200,000 in savings from our budget. We've also included in our budget funds that were unspent last year, which the board protected for rollover in this year. And those are in the areas of learning resources, supplies, equipment, and program development. And so an additional $1.6 million of budget from last year was carried forward and put into this year's budget. I lost the mic, can you hear that? Good enough. And then lastly is the LIFT grant. And so our total LIFT grant, that's a learning improvement fund, has been increased. Is that any better? No? The LIFT grant has been increased. It's gone from $3.1 to $3.9 million, and we've just broken down here the individual amounts. Teachers Education Fund, $3.1 million, and then the support staff fund of close to $800,000. We've provided the Ministry of Education operating grant detail. So this is the detail that has been released. The first column again is our amended or final budget for this year compared to our preliminary and the change. And you can see our student enrollment funding, which is the first section, $159.9 million compared to a budget of $163.5. So that is down $3.5 million. Part of that is a reduction in our regular student base funding of $1.3 million and the loss of the ministry-funded summer school programs of $2.1 million. You can see the impact in the other unique student category areas, and so in total we'll receive $22.9 million for unique student needs, down just slightly from budget of $209,000. We have increased funding in the salary differential, $4.2 million almost, compared to a budget of $3.8. And here you see the holdback at $1.8 million compared to a budget of $1 million. So before the clawback from government on the strike savings, our operating grant would have been $190.4 million compared to a preliminary budget of $192, almost $193 million. So that was down $2.5 million. And then the reduction or take back, clawback from ministry of strike savings, $7.6 million, will leave our Ministry of Education operating grant at $182.3 million this year, a little more than $10 million less than what we had originally budgeted. We've also included other Ministry of Education grants. So these are grants that come to us over and above the operating grant. And you can see this is where we received the labor settlement funding for the teachers collective agreement, $4,350,000. So that represents the largest part of that increase in this funding from other ministry grants, which will be $7,160,000. And then outside the Ministry of Education, from other government, provincial governments, federal grants, they total $366,000. You can see the amounts by the different categories. And then our other fees and revenues that we generate, totaling $16.9, almost $17 million. You can see the lion's share of that now is the international education revenues, which for this year will generate $15.2, almost $15.3 million in gross revenues for the district. And then lastly, in terms of the detail, is supplies and services totaling $22.3, almost $22.4 million. And you'll see some large increases in the area of services and particularly supplies. And that primarily is the unspent budgets that were carried over from last year that have resulted in an increase in our budget in these areas, as well as increased expenditures in the area of the international education for their increased enrollment. So when we put it all together, this is actually the summary of operations for the year. And so this is our revenues in total divided over our expenses for the year. And so from all sources, when you put our revenues together, they will be slightly more than $209 million compared to our original budget of $214 million, almost $214.5 million. So overall, our total revenue of the district will be down about $5.3 million. Our total expenses will be $214 million, and that's $2.9 million less than what we had originally budgeted. And so our direct revenues, less our direct expenses, in fact, would leave us in a negative position of $4,855,000, slightly greater than what we had projected, which was $2,500,000. And then finally, we try to take that net expenses for the year and then show how that relates to our overall deficit position. So from that negative position of $4,855,000, we have local capital transfers of $742,000, showing a net shortfall of $5,597,000. Applying all of our restricted surplus, so within our restricted surplus, this is surplus that we intended to bring forward and spend in this year, being $4,814,000, and our true net loss for operations for the year, greater than what we had planned in terms of our original budget, is $783,000. And so that will be deducted from our unrestricted surpluses of $4,782,000, which will leave our fund balance in a surplus position at the end of the year, just under $4 million. So although, Chairperson, it's been a tough financial year for the district in terms of operations, in terms of reduced revenues and impact on expenses, we have still finished the year in a strong position overall financially, and will carry forward at the end of the year surpluses that will total almost $4 million to help offset the budget challenge that we're faced with for next year. And then lastly, we've just provided the total amounts in each of our special purpose funds, and these are the funds that are outside of our operating grant, and we simply reference them all here for the board's reference and the public's reference, so they're aware of what those different areas are and the amount of money that comes in and goes through those special purpose funds. And that completes the presentation, Chairperson.
Thank you, and then I understand now we have to have a reading of the bylaw.
Yes.
First, I'd like to say thank you, Greg, to yourself and the rest of the senior admin team for helping us finish in a strong position, and to all the trustees who made the decision to maintain the music program, to maintain a number of the programs that the districts have, and I know it's going to be a tougher year this year, one that none of us are looking forward to, but one that we're going to get through. So thanks very much for everything.
And Chairperson, if I could thank Assistant Secretary Treasurer Rory Bueno and his team for all of the work that they have done in terms of compiling all the information for the budget, the tracking of that, and bringing the summary forward. They've done an outstanding job and continue to do an outstanding job for the district.
Yeah, thanks, Roy. I didn't see you hiding over there. Next year might be a year you really have to hide. So we have recommended that the amended annual budget bylaw for the fiscal year 2014-2015 receive 3 readings at this board meeting and final adoption in accordance with the board's procedural bylaws. The first motion that amended budget bylaw for the fiscal year 2014-15 received 3 readings at this board meeting. Moved by Gender, seconded by Gary. No discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. That the amended annual budget bylaw for the fiscal year 2014-2015 be read first time. Moved by Harmon, seconded by Leyland. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. That the amended annual budget bylaw for the fiscal year 2014-2015 be approved the first time and read a second time. Moved by Gary, seconded by Larry. All those in favor? Carried. That the amended budget bylaw for the fiscal year 2014-15 be approved the second time and read a third time. Ginger and Gary. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. That the amended annual budget bylaw for the fiscal year 2014-15 be approved the third time. Moved by Harmon, seconded by Katrina. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And finally, that the amended annual budget bylaw for the fiscal year 2014-2015, having been read a first, second, and third time, be finally passed and adopted. The 24th day of February 2015, Chair of the Board and the Secretary Treasurer be authorized to sign the bylaw, and the bylaw be sealed with the corporate seal of the board. Moved by Gary, seconded by Larry. All those in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Thank you. And next is unfinished business. We have unfinished business. We have new business. Full business.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I too would like to commend our Secretary Treasurer's Office for bringing in a healthier budget than we anticipated, because I had, for the first time I attended Provincial Council over the weekend. It was my first experience, and timing, I don't know, I guess other Provincial Council will also feel that its timing is always wrong, but to have Provincial Council soon after the budget announcement was, I can tell you, a very, very tense and a very, very concerned council. And they, everyone saw the deficit that they will be facing from their perspectives, and so collectively 3 motions were passed, and I'd like to share those with the board if that's okay. The first motion that came across increased funding of education programs, and this was brought forward by School District 69, Nanaimo Ladysmith. And the motion goes that BCSDA request A, that each Board of Education develop a rationale for immediate increase in funding for support for educational programs in their schools. B, that the board asks to meet with their local MLAs prior to the end of May 2015. And C, that each board and or branch association present their request for increased funding to their local MLAs and the Ministry of Education during these meetings. This was passed unanimously. The second one was on budget communication, and this was presented by School District 74 Gold Trail. That the BCSDA Board of Directors discuss the Memorandum of Understanding with the Minister of Education and review possible areas of concern regarding recent provincial government budget processes, communication, content, and impact. Again, this was carried. And the third one was meeting in response to provincial budget announcement. This was moved by School District 71 Comox Valley. That BCSDA arrange a meeting ASAP of the following: BCSDA Board of Directors, member board chairs, member branch presidents, and the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Education to discuss the education budget and the impact of the directed cuts that will have on school districts and students. So the emphasis that was important was the idea that the Minister of Finance really needed to be alerted on what the challenges were around the school board and the challenges the school boards were facing, and that a direct conversation with the Minister of Finance was equally important. So those were the three motions that came forward, and I would like to recommend that for the first one in particular, that this board also follow through on the recommendation of meeting with our MLAs and presenting an educational program request for better funding. Obviously, we'd have to frame that into a motion, but in the spirit of what's being said, I would like to move that we support this motion.
Okay, moved by Paul Ginger, seconded by Gary. Any further discussion? Well, I think it's important that we do support this. I know that at the DPAC meeting last night, for the first time in a long, long time, they are concerned about funding. And some of the concerns that works for us and that we've expressed is that we've been very, very responsible in terms of fiscal management, and a big part of that has been the senior leadership team. We a long time ago made a decision that we should cut back on administration and the money going in there, much to their detriment. I mean, it takes on a lot much bigger workload for them, and we appreciate that, but it has allowed us to save the programs that we heard about tonight. And the other point is we have a government that says they're going to fully fund the labor agreement, and then just, on the other hand, just out and out lied and came back and said that we're going to take $29 million away in administrative costs, and I think that's completely unheralded, and I think it's wrong, and I think that they should be honest with the public that this agreement that they got is only being partially funded. They're pulling it out, and the third piece of that is that money going to independent schools is a real slap in the face of public education. So I think we need to support this.
Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Question period? No questions? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moved by Continue, seconded by Larry. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Good night, Larry.
Package the information and let those who have experience, not just the whole thing. Including.
Did you write down? Did you log the?
It's not. She's not doing